Alright. Let's talk about some WWE Monday Night Raw. It just went off the air about an hour and a half ago, and I've seen a lot of mixed emotions about this particular episode. Some really hated it, and some really liked it. I'm kind of stuck in between. I definitely saw some things that I liked, and I definitely saw some things that I didn't. But let's go over this if we shall. Of course, we all know what happened. Triple H, he gets fired by Vince McMahon. Now, I find that to be hilarious. Why do I find this to be hilarious? Well, it's simple, because Vince McMahon was the one who got fired by Triple H all those months ago, and now here he is doing the exact same thing to the guy that fired him. I found that to be hysterical. I don't know about you guys. So yeah, we got that. So now that there's no longer a COO, we have to have someone take his spot, right? Well, the great thing about it is that Vince McMahon stated that it will not be a member of the McMahon family. So my brain started turning, the wheels were spinning, I was thinking, who in the world are they going to elect as the new COO? Well, they haven't made a decision as who will be the official COO, but in the meantime, they got someone to step in as the interim GM of Raw, and they picked none other than John Laurinitis, which I found that to be great, because John Laurinitis is a sketchy motherfucker. And every time I see that man, I'm always wondering in the back of my mind, what in the world is this guy up to? So, I'm hoping that he can, raise some more questions and just make me think more, because that's what he's really good at doing. He's just, well, I've already said it, he's just a sketchy son of a bitch. So what does John Laurinitis do? Since he is now the new interim GM, well, he goes on to do, several things on his first night. He makes a lot of matches, and he goes on to fire somebody. I wasn't too happy with the firing, but I wasn't so sad either. Let me explain. Well, Jim Ross, of course, the commentator for Raw, he was fired. John Laurinaitis didn't like how he acted last week on the walkout, and he fired him. And you could tell that John Laurinaitis enjoyed the hell out of it, because he had a pretty good smug look on his face. But the funny thing about that is that Jim Ross also looked like he enjoyed being fired. He kind of just said, alright, and got the hell out. He shook the King's hand and went on his merry way. And you see, let me explain. Jim Ross is a play-by-play announcer. He is a guy that calls the action. He tells the story of what's going on inside that squared circle. He tries to build the wrestlers. And in this day and age, the WWE has gotten away from that traditional style of commentating. The style that Jim Ross made famous. I noticed several times that when Jim Ross is trying to call a match, he can't, because Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler or Booker T are always talking about complete nonsense. Stuff that just doesn't relate to what's going on. And I can tell Jim Ross gets frustrated with that. So, to be quite honest, I'm sure Jim Ross was happy to be relieved of his duties. Now, he fires Jim Ross and rehires two others. He rehires The Awesome Truth, The Miz, and R-Truth. I loved it. You knew they were coming back. We just didn't know when. And of course, as soon as we figured out that Triple H was no longer the COO, we knew that it was only a matter of time. And of course, he brought them back at the end of the show during the main event match with CM Punk and ADR. John Laurinaitis interrupts the match and decides to turn it into a tag team match, pairing ADR and CM Punk together against The Awesome Truth. And what happened at the end of that match was pretty cool in my book. Triple H came out and just blasted everybody. I mean, he was kicking everyone's ass. Of course, something weird occurred after that. We kind of saw CM Punk and Triple H coexisting as a team. In fact, they even shook hands at the end. Two guys that at one time hated each other's guts. Now they're being paired as a tag team, and at Vengeance we are going to see the Awesome Truth take on Punk and Triple H. That will be interesting to say the least. Punk and Triple H, like I said, they were once bitter enemies, and now they are allies. Well, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow at this present moment in time, but we still have a few more weeks to go. There's still plenty of time to see how things unfold. Now, John Morrison and Christian, they had a match. In fact, that was the first match signed by the newly hired interim GM, John Laurinitis. Of course, John Morrison kind of stuck his foot in his mouth by insulting John Laurinitis, so he put him in a match with Christian. Of course, they had no time to change. They all wrestled the match in their street clothes, and of course, the match was short, and it didn't really go so well for John Morrison, seeing as how he was distracted by Christian's henchmen, his heel stable partners in crime. And Christian was able to get to win. Now, the cool thing about this, John Morrison lost again, but it's not like he went out as a total chump. I mean, it didn't seem like that to me. In fact, at the end of the match, after it was all said and done, he went on to take everybody's finisher. Jack Swagger gave him the gut-wrench powerbomb. Boom! Cody Rhodes hit him with the crossroads. Christian hit him with the kill switch. I mean, he was beaten down. So you can't really feel too bad about that in my eyes. It's not like he totally got squashed in the match. It's basically what I'm trying to say, and he lives to fight another day. Now, of course, if what is said to be true about John Morrison being on Twitter and Facebook and leaving all these tweets, whatever you want to call them, I'm not sure. I don't twit, or whatever you fuck you want to call it. But if that's true, if he's really dissing everybody like Triple H and John Cena, if that's not part of some kind of angle, then maybe it's true. Maybe he is going to step down. Maybe he's going to leave the WWE. The only question that I have for Mr. Jomo is, where on earth do you plan on going? That is, if you want to continue your wrestling career, because let's be honest, man, you are a damn good wrestler, and you make for some amazing matches. You really have people's jaws dropping on a day-to-day basis just when you're in the ring. Your matches with Sheamus, they were flawless. It's just sad to see that, you're getting treated the way you are. Of course, we all know why he's getting treated this way. It's simply because he cannot cut it on the mic. Plain and simple, no more can be said about it. Now, Cody Rhodes, he did something tonight that just made me smile. During the Mark Henry and Randy Orton match, he interfered, causing Mark Henry to get DQ'd because he prevented the pin, and he just went to town on Randy Orton. I loved it. Cody Rhodes, here's a guy that just has the complete package. He is the epitome, in my eyes now, he is the epitome of what every wrestler should strive to be. He invests in his character. He works on his personality. He works on his in-ring ability, and he shows it every week. This man just gets better and better and better, and I'm so glad to see that he is the IC champion. I'm so glad to see that he is bringing prestige back to that title. And I'm so glad to see that he put his nose in the business of Randy Orton. Of course, he has every right to, seeing as how Randy Orton was responsible for putting 9 staples in this guy's head. So he has every right to want to get a little bit of payback. Now, I'm definitely sure we will see a match at Vengeance with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. I'm not so certain if it will be for the IC title, seeing as how Randy Orton is the top SmackDown babyface, and he just came off of a World Heavyweight Championship title reign, so it would be kind of weird to see him go for the IC title, but nonetheless, it's still going to be a damn good match. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. Now let me talk about one last thing. Dolph fucking Ziggler. We had a 6-man tonight, and it wasn't the greatest 6-man match, but Dolph Ziggler, whether he loses, whether he wins, he always gives 110%. That man has no boundaries, no limits. He is a great worker. He's just like Cody Rhodes. He is the epitome of what every wrestler strives to be. He says he's perfection. He is exactly right. Dolph Ziggler is a bump-taking machine. He puts people over. He makes them look good. He doesn't care about putting himself in front of the picture all the time. What I mean by that, he's not afraid to make another guy look good. He's all about just making for a good show, if that makes any sense. He's just all about the wrestling. This guy is an awesome wrestler, an awesome talker. And guess what? He's the United States champion. He's the other mid-card title holder, just like Cody Rhodes. The mid-card is looking great, in my opinion. The mid-card titles are, without a doubt, the best titles right now in the WWE, because both of the mid-card champions know exactly what they have to do in order to entertain that crowd. And what's even more weird about it is that we have heels as the mid-card champions. It's great to see that these heels in the WWE know how to do it. Anyways, that's my Raw review, if you want to call it a review. That's my likes and dislikes, I should say, at least. Wasn't too bad, but hey, that's how Raw goes. Not every episode can be spectacular. Not every episode is going to be what you want it to be. That's just how it rolls. You got to learn how to look for the good in things and not be so damn picky, everybody. Anyways, this is Gold Dizzy. I don't have nothing else to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Peace.